All right. Well, welcome everybody. I'm not going to be looking at the camera. Oh, thank you, Berg. He's got a wireless mouse, which if any of you didn't know what a wireless mouse is, because we did have somebody here who was just introduced to a wireless mouse. It's something where you put in your computer and then you can control it from a distance. So Dan, I'm excited for you to get that in the future. But we have a special episode of the story of the 2021 iceberg. So we have a special guest here with us today. Actually a consolation champ winner.
Yes.
And as Dan reminded us at dinner last night, everybody ragged on him when he said we should pay out first, second, and seventh. Well, looking back at it, Bird, you could have gotten your money back. But anywho, I am not going to steal the show here. We are with our other guests. I know if you look over here, it's hard to kind of see him or recognize him. He is not wearing his cowboy hat, almost turned around for it, but you probably made out the Temple Football Owls there. And that is Dan Miller. And to my right here,
league champion,
Nick Clement.
League champion.
Dan did take the lead.
He did.
He did.
I didn't even notice.
I didn't either.
Pete noticed.
Hey, I made money.
I didn't get last.
We'll get to Shaw later. So Berg, welcome. Anything you'd like to say to our viewership? I know there's a lot coming up here, so I will let you take it away.
A lot of people have trashed me for the way I manage my team this season. After this podcast, I think you're going to vote me manager of the year.
Ooh.
So I haven't really planned how we're going to do this. I have a slide for each week. It'll show my roster that week, my score that week, and any transactions I made.
Okay. So week one, how did it start out, Berg?
I lost.
Paint us a picture.
Yeah. I had the third highest score in the league. I had the lead going into Monday night. Only Josh Jacobs remained. Josh Jacobs had 2 touchdowns. I believe the only time this season he did that.
Historic output from him.
Was week 1 to win by 4 points.
So
okay, so yeah, going through his roster, amazing.
Let's look at
incredible. We're skipping over the draft, which
this is my draft right here. It's this team.
Exactly.
No,
unbelievable draft.
Based on the draft.
Debo on the bench, Damian Harris on the bench. Oh my God.
Trey Sermon was immediately brought into.
I think you had the best draft.
Oh, without a doubt. There's no reason.
And that's with Dan's incredible draft.
Yeah.
It's the first step to being a great manager is a great draft.
Hey.
Sure.
You ready to move on?
Yeah. Let's
You took one bad beat.
All right.
You took one bad beat.
Yeah.
All right.
So far, 1 for 1.
Aces cracked down the river.
Yeah. Third highest score, nothing you can do there.
Yep.
Who was second highest score? Or
no, he's the third.
Who was first highest score that week?
Yeah.
Then weeks 2 through 5.
Hey.
It's not where it went wrong for Pete.
That's evident.
Week 2, I still didn't make a transaction, and once again played probably the highest score in the league. What can I do?
Yeah. Hey, unlocked.
Great.
Debo is still on the bench.
You only put up 104.
Yeah.
So again, one bad, unlucky one.
Yeah.
I still would lose.
Okay.
I would beat most teams, not most teams, but at least some teams.
He's gone against 300 points through 2 weeks.
Yes. Rough start, even for the toughest of managers.
Love that Patriots D though. Shout out Shaw.
Things start going right.
The Patriots D are now gone for my team.
Which was Shaw's best scoring player for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Here's my first trade as well. I traded Shaw, Damian Harris for Julio Jones. Which, looking back at it now, everyone says, what a horrible trade you made. But we'll get to the week 4 debacle in a second. But Shaw called me during the week 4 debacle and said, all right, everyone in the league knows you won our trade last week, Damian Harris and Julio Jones. And part of his, when we were trying to negotiate the reverse debacle was that we would undo that trade, and eventually agreed on something else. But everyone knew that I won that trade right away. Turns out I didn't.
Okay.
Fair enough. I think Julio in the beginning of the season, yeah.
He was big. I don't mind that. Yeah. And you were stacked at running back.
You had so many running backs.
Yeah, that was
Elliott,
why I made the trade.
You had Darrell Henderson.
Damian Harris wasn't going off that time. Julio had so much upside.
Rojo had upside too at that point. I don't mind that.
And if I remember right, this was Chris's only loss in the first 5
James
or 6
White
weeks.
was still.
Yeah.
At this point of the season, I still remember being like, oh, I feel bad for Berg. Like, you've had some tough beats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
I remember.
I don't think anything
I
has
still,
surprised us yet.
yeah, I've still been a great manager, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, I want to trade.
Yeah.
I've one a week.
God, Derrick Henry.
The,
Straight draft.
the moral of the story in week 3 was the downfall of Pete.
Yeah.
That
Now
was for the first month or so.
here comes the hard part to defend.
Oh no!
Oh my God.
Trade me undone.
No or no.
Oh, what's on the piece of paper?
That was that's Shaw's handwriting. The trade that we made that I don't even remember.
Wow.
That ended
Oh
up
my
he
God.
wrote the wrong players on the trade. We had to undo the trades we made. The final trade ended up being I traded Joe Mixon and Henderson from the Rams and 15 fab for Jonathan Taylor and Allen Robinson.
Did you get Damian Harris?
No.
Wait, what's
So-
Harris and Anderson then?
That was a different trade. That,
So where on the
Shaw got all
screen
mixed
is
up.
the actual?
that bottom message where it said I trade Mixon, Henderson, and $15 for Taylor and Robinson. That
Okay.
was the final deal.
So you even
Honestly, that's not terrible.
Yeah,
two
Taylor's an upgrade,
Taylor's an upgrade, but you give away Henderson.
two running back ones at the
and
time.
and
Yeah.
that was Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
Or-
That's which
which we didn't know. Which a lot
we
of
didn't know
upside.
either of those players yet.
Yeah. Allen Robinson
Yeah.
at that point was still
half
looking.
the league had a fetish for Allen Robinson this year. The
Yeah.
other half saw the writing on the wall.
I
with the
believe he
Bears
gets
offense.
traded back next week.
So okay, a little misclick here.
Yeah, we all know the story. We don't have to dig into
We
it.
don't have to dig into it. You were wrong. Have you learned anything from the misclick?
I learned to not accept trades while I'm in important meetings at work
Okay.
and to refresh the page and read the trade a few times before clicking accept.
Okay.
And I learned Shaw's a really nice guy. I learned that Dan was a dictator in the lead.
Excuse me.
Where this
Can the
is going?
trade be undone? Does everyone see that? Those were the options everyone had to vote on.
And everyone voted no.
It was unanimous.
It was
No,
unanimous,
no.
4-0. I will say that I am not on the same page as these two. I think you still got screwed over. I think Shaw was being a good guy,
Mhm.
even though behind the scenes he was like, I'm still going to take him for what he's got. Mixon and Henderson for Taylor at the time was very bad. Taylor was not a running back one. He was
Yeah.
at best a running back 2. Mixon was a clear running back 1. Henderson was a draft steal.
Mhm.
I personally,
So here's a little more background that I think I covered in the last podcast I was in. You can see the original trade there that I accidentally accepted was Mixon for Allen Robinson, Damian Harris, and Robbie Anderson. So I lost big time. That was a horrible trade for my team.
yeah.
And I knew it immediately, which is why I thought the trade should have been undone.
Mhm.
Not going to get into that right now.
Mhm.
And so Shaw and I called and we said, let's agree to a deal where Shaw is still getting the better end of the deal, but it's not as lopsided. And in this case, Mixon and Taylor, we agreed were very equal, but Shaw said, I'd rather have Mixon than Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah,
That's-
at the time.
Yeah,
That's fair.
and I wanted Allen Robinson. He was equal to Henderson at that point in the season. They were both like 4th, 5th round picks that
Yeah.
were doing
Is that
average.
Dawson Knox?
Yeah, that's Dawson Knox.
Oh,
You
baby.
gotta be kidding.
For the viewers, we did a fantasy pick 'em. Sorry, you guys, if maybe you cared about our podcast more, you would have reached out. But we did a pick 'em, and no one picked Dawson Knox. 2
I-
touchdowns. Beautiful. I've got Josh Allen.
Dan's got T. Higgins.
So this was a mess. And I think about half of us agreed that it really wasn't that bad of a managerial thing, especially after the misclick. You
Wait.
can say- So the misclick is one thing, like that was not intended by me, but the way I made up for it, I got Jonathan Taylor.
So-
I came out with a deal that was actually very fair.
Let's take. I think what we need to look at is the week before this. You were like, oh yeah, this was a super lopsided trade, but at the time it was good, and we were like, okay, yeah, at the time it was a good managerial move. This week you're saying, oh yeah, this ended up being really good because look how good Taylor is. You're looking in the future for this trade,
No.
but looking in the
No,
present.
I haven't
for
mentioned
the
how
trade
good Taylor
before.
ended up being in this. I have strictly said at the time, Mixon and Taylor were equal, and Henderson and Robinson were equal. I just threw in $15 for my mistake, essentially. That's all the trade came down to. And for what I started with, this ended up being a great trade.
Is Maxie going crazy? Oh,
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we've covered this enough.
Yeah.
Hey, silver lining. Berg gets his first win.
That is true.
No, I had it
Against-
the week
Snap
before.
before.
Second
yeah.
win.
Second win. He beat. See, I had to
158
do shuffle and deal for him 3 times after this.
I got
So-
trashed for such bad managerial moves, and then I put up the high score in the league.
So
Okay, so
he's
you're
2 and 2.
Okay, 2-2.
A lot of-
Season is looking good.
Yeah.
Peter's 1-3.
Yeah. A lot of season ahead of you.
Just
So
I
I-
can't even sniff.
And
100
here's
yet.
my first stat. I was 2-2. I had an unlucky loss early in the
Jeez.
season.
Creep. Yeah.
I was projected to win my next 4 games, and I lost all 4. What else can I do?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Keep going.
Would
What?
Week 5.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
just go, yeah,
Week
next
5.
slide,
We're
next
gonna
slide.
continue
Yeah,
on.
we've looked at the slide now.
Okay. Wait, what is this? Week 4 continued?
Oh no!
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, these were my other moves I made in week 4.
Oh no! Oh no!
I forgot there was a second slide.
Oh God. It gets so much worse.
This is bad.
The Miles Sanders for Deebo Samuel trade was my worst of the season. At the time, it was pretty unanimous amongst the league that I won that trade. Hindsight, I did not get even close.
I don't remember that.
This is
trade
where
going.
Dan comes into things. And I lost this trade right here.
Agreed.
Yeah,
This is Berg's. win.
Cortland Sutton was good and
Yeah.
Tony Pollard was good.
yeah. And the
I
other
got
2
Allen
were
And he
Robinson.
had, and he had Zeke, so you get the
Lottery
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah, I got
but he is charting to compare Allen Robinson to Daryl Henderson Jr. And then now we're flipping him for scraps.
Not for scraps. Cortland Sutton, I started almost every
Yeah,
week.
but
did.
at the time.
So you can't be saying Allen Robinson is this great player
Yeah.
in one trade.
Well, he
and
was.
not the
I
other.
mean, Trey Sermon was a throw, and I picked him up earlier in the week for 6 fab. And
That's an overbid.
yeah,
There's some
probably was.
hypocrisy.
I drafted
There's some-
Trey Sermon.
Okay. So we've seen it. Let's go to week
Yeah,
5.
let's go to week 5. Week 4 was not your week.
Okay, you lost.
Mhm.
In
You
a-
put up 143.
This is like
Yep.
the only week that Molesky
Went
put up
off.
more than 110.
It's because Lamar went off that week and
Yep.
then they went to overtime.
and Devontae 32.
Yeah. Antonio Brown 28. I
Yeah.
mean, you got 21 out of Cortland Sutton.
This
All
is
right.
one of those 4 consecutive weeks where I'm projected to win and ended up losing.
This
This
is-
is
this
the one
is
week
one-
I had Jonathan
Yeah,
Taylor
that is
too.
right.
Okay.
So
So
you had already traded Jonathan Taylor.
Okay,
right?
this was
Yeah.
bad luck.
So 2 and
Next,
3.
Yeah,
Wait, where's the Jonathan Taylor trade?
it's
It
in
comes
week
next.
6 because it didn't affect this line.
Yeah,
at all.
Okay.
So here's the Jonathan Taylor
Yeah.
trade. That actually, it's bad, but it's
Look at
not.
Pete's smug face.
I mean,
I don't know.
it's not horrible.
Kenny Galladay stunk.
Yeah, he was dropped. He was just a throw in that trade.
Yes. So, and Kittle was on IR, and Kittle came back and was a stud.
Yeah.
You trading for Hawk when you already had Kittle coming back. is
Okay,
interesting.
we
We're
can't-
gonna get there.
we'll get
We're gonna
there.
get there. I don't know.
The first one I got is like it's defensible. I didn't think you. I mean, I will give credit to where credit is due. Pete did the research to look at Taylor's because this is the last week, and then Taylor just breaks out because he had that great schedule. I'll give credit to Pete for that. I think as a manager, you should have known he had just a cake schedule. He's in a crappy division, playing the Jags and Texans all the time.
Aaron Jones also underperformed the rest of the season. When
I-
I made
yeah,
this trade,
I agree.
Aaron
Yes.
Jones was much higher in my value than
In pro,
Then
I was
in
really
the rest
what
of the
I was
season
really
rankings.
actually trying to get in this trade was like a wide receiver. Like
Mhm.
I thought that Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor would be pretty comparable, and then I wanted to offload D Hop bad.
And,
That's
and
why
if I remember correctly, the 2 guys on my sides thought that I won this trade at the time.
I did not say you won this trade at the time.
Dan did.
Dan did.
And then so you added the gas can. I respect that.
Mhm.
Yeah, this one was bad.
And immediately traded him.
How much fab was in there?
I don't remember. It's
10.
not- it doesn't
It was
show.
10 fab.
10 fab.
Okay.
You give him 10
That was awful.
I
That
got
was when
Odell.
he was so desperate for.
So it was a
anyone against me.
15 fab transaction to add Miles Gaskin and give him to Dan.
Well, I got Odell.
No, I know. So, but
So
Miles
I-
Gaskin cost you 15 fab. But
No,
you got Odell.
Odell cost me 15 fab.
Odell cost you 15 fab. That's fair.
I think I'm quickly realizing the big ones aren't your issue. Like the big ones, yeah, it sucked. It's these little guys that just nickel and dime you fab, and these like little transactions that you're giving away some of those values you got in the draft, and you're just giving them away.
I feel like a lot of teams towards the end of the season would have paid 15 fab for Odell.
You
Oh,
didn't know he was gonna get traded.
That was at the time where
This was Cleveland, Odell.
I know that's what
Yeah.
he didn't know he was going to get traded.
Okay, we have talked about Odell so much.
Yeah, let's go to the next
Let's not talk about
Yeah,
Odell anymore.
we
Fair
got a lot
enough.
to cover.
Week 7. All right. Explain yourself.
I don't know why you're laughing. Nick Chubb for Zeke is an equal trade, is it not?
No.
Why? They're both, like running backs 8 and 9 or so.
This trade isn't that bad outside of the fact that you already had Kittle on your roster.
Well, and the injury in the
Oh,
bye.
was this the? Oh,
This
this
is
was
the
the.
injury in
This
the
is when he
bye
was
thing.
on COVID. This was COVID. Yeah.
Chubb had COVID
Mhm.
and Zeke was on his bye. So
You
instead of
onboarded his bye. Yes.
you had a missed week for Chubb for injury,
I
and
had-
then you had to wait
I had
later
taken
for
the bye.
the
Yes.
bye.
Yes.
Dan talks about my smug face. Just I want everyone to go back and rewatch him just cackle to himself. The reason he's staying so quiet is because he doesn't want the gold mine to run out.
I think this is a good trade, Berg. Think about it.
I don't think
No,
it's. I
yeah,
don't see how
it
it's
makes
bad.
any
Okay,
sense.
I agree.
What was Hawk gonna do for you?
Ball out like he
Yeah.
always does?
Kittle was on IR. I didn't have a tight end at that
Then
time.
why are you trading for Kittle on the IR? You had Higby.
Because Higby wasn't good. I don't
Dallas
see how
Goedert.
this is bad at all. Like I traded running back. I clear up a roster space by getting rid of Pollard with Zeke. I get an equal running back to Zeke.
What was your record at this point?
This is before week 7, so I was 2 and 4.
So you are taking on a injured Chubb and an extra bye.
No, he's
at
getting
2
rid
and
of
4.
he's getting rid of Chubb.
No, I'm
No,
getting-
he's getting Chubb.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
This is before
the
you got
injury
him
and
back.
the bye. He's 2 and 4. He's desperate for a win, and he's taking long shots. Taking like, I'll take the extra week.
Yeah, but
He's
isn't
gone.
this when
It was unknown if Chubb was going to play that week, I believe.
yeah, Chubb was up in the air, but
This
also
was not the COVID Chubb, I don't think.
Yes, it was.
I
This
thought
was
this was
COVID
the
Chubb.
injured
No,
Chubb.
this was
I
COVID
believe
Chubb.
this is COVID Chubb.
This is COVID Chubb. And at that point, it was
And
pretty
we've all
clear
had
he was.
COVID.
but then wasn't
COVID toe, COVID Chubb.
what's his face? Who's the other running back for the Browns? Kareem Hunt. Wasn't Kareem Hunt hurt at this time? So it would have been Chubb just balling out by himself when
Yeah.
he came back.
Which he had been doing, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
but he was like pretty much confirmed out that week.
Yeah, but so
Zeke
was
wasn't playing
Zeke.
that week either.
They've never ran.
Doesn't matter.
never
So
run
why
out.
why take somebody on who's out and onboard another guy?
Because I got a huge upgrade at tight
Lost in
end.
this all is
I
that
go
you
from-
lost to Cole.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that was
lost.
hoping you
You
would
put up
skip over
82.
that part.
And lost to
put
the
up
farm.
82.
Again, I was projected to win. My team underperformed constantly.
So let's look at your lineup at this point.
Mhm.
We have gone from Berg. I'm laughing at a joke I heard earlier. We have Miles
No, you're
Sanders, Aaron Jones. Okay, Cortland Sutton, D Hop, the Hawk, great addition. Godwin.
The only guys that are
That's-
still good on our team are the ones he drafted.
And then I got Chubb down there on the bench and Kittle. Doesn't seem like that bad of a team.
All right, let's move on.
You guys ready to move on?
I was definitely on your side in the beginning, but it's starting to get
Keep going.
I still don't see where I've lost this league.
Lost a close one.
Another-
this week.
We lost
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
close,
that's
Close
not-
one. I was projected to win it. Didn't make any moves.
but
That's
now
fine.
you're still starting Sutton. You're starting
Sutton was doing well at the
He
Sutton was
Sutton
good.
had a
not
good-
not with week 8. It's I don't know. If
Judy
he's
was
still-
out.
I don't remember.
Was as
Are
soon
you
as
sure?
Judy came back, that's when Sutton lost it.
Yeah, Judy was out till like week
Yeah.
13.
Sutton would have been starting on your
Okay,
team
so
at
the
this
writing
point.
was pretty much on the wall here that you were kind of going to be out of the playoffs. I feel like you waited a little bit to be like, all right, now I'm going to sell the farm.
I don't know. I feel like if you look at my roster right now, it's without question a playoff team. The number one quarterback.
That is not the number one.
Not at the
quarterback.
time. Not at the
Not
time.
at the time,
All
but
season. Look at his
There were
numbers.
very few. I know there. How many quarterbacks would you have started over Mahomes in a given week? In week 8?
Lamar, Josh Allen,
Those
I
guys
would
were
not have
both
started.
Tyler,
I would not have started Lamar. over him.
Kyler, I would have. this year.
like
Dak.
Mahomes was not a top 5 quarterback
No.
this year.
Lamar was off.
No, I'll get to Mahomes later. Like he was not a good quarterback for me this year, but any manager would have taken him in the 4th round and started him all season.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't think
fair.
anyone can deny that. That was what
You
else
can't
can-
move on. from
what else
him.
can I
That's the
do?
law of
Yeah.
second costs there.
He's the only player I drafted that ended on my final roster. Yeah,
You got to get a
Damon
jersey.
Harris.
All right. we
well,
had the-
All right.
that stayed on my roster the whole
Week
season.
9. Week 9.
yeah, let's move.
This is where I started to get desperate.
Okay, yeah. This is. I mean, the writing was on the wall at this point. Now
Mhm.
you were the new butt of the joke. Pete had made his run.
Yes, and this is where I felt I have to win at this point because I must have been 2-6 at this point.
Mhm.
Chris Godwin was out. Adam Thielen was done with his bye, I believe. I
Yes,
had him for the rest of the
Thielen had-
season.
Yeah, because I beat Ben on Buymageddon.
And you added Folk, which was a big up for you.
Well, it ended up being my downfall later on by trading him to
Yeah.
Dan.
I don't mind the Godwin Thielen trade.
Nope,
It's whatever.
that one's fine.
Ratings on the wall.
Mhm. And now this was the big trade. Lost by 3 again, another close one. No.
No.
In this trade, hitting through the weeds, Dan got Adams and Chubb.
And Hawk.
But
Yes.
people forget that I gave up Kamara.
Even if he was healthy, him getting a throw, even if he was healthy, getting a throw in of Davante Adams was a throw in for you.
I had to give up Damian Harris.
it was Chubb was the throw in.
I had to give up-
Kamara. Fine.
Doesn't matter.
Chubb
Doesn't
Adams
matter.
and Kamara even. Damian Harris, stud.
He was
He's
out.
playing right
He-
now.
He missed that next week.
Okay, we didn't know that.
Yes, he had a concussion all week.
Yeah, but he was gonna play.
No, he wasn't. He didn't.
And DJ Moore, who had a lot of life left in him.
Dude, the very next podcast, you come on the podcast and you say, I'm so happy to finally say this. You can go back to week whatever
Yep.
and say bum ass DJ Moore.
Agreed.
Well, because he was killing me, but he ended up turning things around. He had a lot of potential.
He had a big revenge game later in the season.
This trade won Dan the league.
Chris Carson, broken neck.
There are 3 trades that won Dan the league. I have a slide for that later.
Okay, keep going.
2 were very
let's
stupid
go.
This one-
trades.
this
I
one
was
is-
This is
I was
like-
desperate at this point.
No, this is fun.
I-
Yeah, I will say you got really screwed by this. Like you
actually don't-
traded for 3 people. Well, 1 who played, and then you picked up Alex Collins, who
I think this
Yeah.
is the least defensible trade.
No, so
I'll go to my grave on this one. You traded for guys that were injured in a week that you wanted players.
Chris
to win a
Carson was
matchup.
expected to come back.
That
DJ
is true.
Moore,
And then
DJ
he
Moore did
died.
play. I was trading for 2 players expected to play,
and the
and an injured player that was questionable for 1 player who was definitely out.
and the whole other storyline of this is Dan gets off a guy who nobody in that trade knew was injured, Kamara.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
I know that's like how that skirted by.
And this trade to
that.
make it to the playoffs, I need to make this trade. My lineup was getting weak, and this gave me 3 startable players for 1.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
Next-
hey,
yeah,
I
next
agree.
slide.
This is a good trade by you.
And just don't. And I also upgraded my kicker and defense.
shut up on that side of the
You
table.
lost so many games because of
I
that
lost
part.
2 games because of that part of the trade.
Well,
But at the time, everyone would have wanted Tyler Bass and the Steelers
I know.
defense instead of Nick Folk and the Colts.
All right.
defense.
At this point, it's over, right? We don't really care.
Yeah, at this point, it is over.
Lose
You were out-
again in
you
another
were eliminated
nail
after that
biter.
week. You could. I mean,
I was not allowed to make any trades at this
Yeah,
point
yeah,
of the
you're fine.
season. Should
Yeah,
have gone.
yeah.
yeah, just keep
Yeah.
going. You lost
Week
to me.
12.
Latavius Murray's been on this a lot. We haven't just
Here was the
shot.
big week, though. No, that wasn't the big week.
That
This
was
is
a
the big week. Here it is. Picking up Dan's
baby.
point. Devin Singletary picked up for 1 fab. Taking out
Courtland
people's
Sutton,
champion.
RIP.
Let's not forget this week.
That's a big.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
Two
two
guys-
guys. It's Devin Singletary.
two
today.
guys that beat Dan in the regular season. You love to see it.
Yeah. And now it comes to the real matchups, the playoffs.
Oh god, I hate this one, aren't they?
Ooh,
Yikes.
big win in round 1 of the playoffs to avoid that beer mile. Made a lot of key moves, it looks like.
Two of my top 3 scores were my kicker and defense that week.
Mm.
Rip.
And you to play me. It was a tough matchup. And then here it is, the consolation champion.
I like that buckle.
That's a sick buckle. I'd pay. I'd chip in for that.
Yeah.
I already ordered it.
Hey, Berg, want to come cheer for me? No. Fun. What are you going to put on it? Loser? Worst manager of the year?
I didn't
But
say
Berg,
that.
I'm so nice to you.
So I think in conclusion, I wasn't that bad of a manager. Things didn't go my way. Just had bad luck. Let me get out some of these other stats that I have.
Yeah, keep going. I want the stats.
This is
I
stats.
think-
If I were the number 1 seed in the playoff, big hypothetical, if I was in Dan's spot, I would have won the league too. Because of my week 16 and 17, I outscored Dan's opponents both times.
Did
5
you
out of my
outscore Dan?
I don't know actually. I didn't look at that.
You wouldn't score him. I outscored him the first round.
But with Dan, and that's what I'm saying is he didn't have a good road to the playoffs.
Okay, you're saying if you were in Dan's spot, because both of my opponents put up 84. Yeah, no shit. Half the team wins in my
Everyone.
position.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, that's a
if
cherry pick stat
Fine,
right
fine. The 5 of my first 6 losses I was projected to win in. The only one I was that Josh Jacobs one I was projected to lose as well. And then my last one, Patrick Mahomes. Again, the obvious number 1 quarterback going into the year.
He got this number 1 quarterback.
Who else was?
Everyone drafted above him was valued higher than him.
Mahomes was the first quarterback taken in our draft.
Mahomes was the first quarterback taken in our draft.
Yeah.
For real?
No question.
Yeah, he would have been the number 1 quarterback in most drafts.
Yeah, he was a
Really?
consensus number 1 quarterback.
Yeah. Going into the year.
Interesting. Yeah, I did not know.
You could maybe argue Allen.
Yes. I had the better quarterback in every matchup this year.
You
Mahomes.
cannot say that after one draft. Oh, do you think Allen Robinson was still a
No.
3rd round pick potential every single week throughout the rest of the year?
Values change over time.
The stat is Mahomes got outscored by my opponent's quarterback 7 out of 13 weeks that he played. So I lost the quarterback battle,
Yes.
which, bad luck. Just saying. And then, so those are my final stats for now. And here is why,
You blame
Dan.
a lot on luck.
I am not the reason Dan won the league, is what I'm saying. It's these 2 trades right here, where Dan gave away scrubs for top tier players.
The first one was bad.
The first one I was wrong on. I thought that Calvin Ridley was really gonna. I thought he might be wide receiver 1 this year. I was wrong out of the gate, and I was by hand up, but that was bad in retrospect.
Yeah, I think really the trade that got it done for me was getting Devontae Adams. I mean, Devontae Adams just carried me through the rest of the season.
It was unbelievable. I actually don't.
And Nick Folk.
I don't fault Milk for the Jamal Williams.
I think
Amari
that was a
Cooper
very
trade.
fair trade.
He got a ton of fab. He ended up dropping Jamal very, very
Yeah,
like
that was
at that
weird.
point. Justin Jefferson was not who he like. He had potential.
He was
And Amari
clearly
Cooper-
better than Amari Cooper.
Yeah, but I paid him like
He gave him like
60
60 fab.
Yeah.
bro.
60
I don't.
fab?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gave him.
wow.
Yeah, he gave him like 50, 60 fab for that.
Because I gave him more fab
go
than
get
anyone
Chuba
else in the
Hubbard.
league to go get Chuba.
So he
because
basically
without
gave
Chuba,
up-
Milk never is 3rd place.
Yeah, because he gets Justin Jefferson he basically traded away Chuba Hubbard, Jamal Williams, Amari Cooper for Justin Jefferson. That's a good trade. Top one is when you secured that and you had that capital to give away, along with the draft, when those players fell to you, Diggs falling to you.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
This is
the end of
this is my last slide. Yeah.
All right.
So what's next on the podcast?
The Andes.
Is it time for the Andes?
Well, I could go through some of my power rankings while we get that.
All right.
I got some power rankings that I created. One of them, the first one, I don't have a beautiful slideshow like Berg. I actually have to work on Friday.
Andy.
Best things to come out of the season. Number 1, the Shaw and Chris bromance. I
Nothing like
love
it.
those two. They're gonna hang out all the time. They love each other.
It's
They
so
text till
cute.
2 a.m. They're on the phone. That's number 1. Number 2, obviously this podcast, one of the greatest things to come out of this.
Agreed.
All of us are awesome. 1A, Lauren subscribing to be our 10th subscriber.
Big.
I don't know if she's still listening, but thank you for giving us 10.
Biggest subscriber yet.
Another one, seeing Dan have to cheer for a Packer in Devontae Adams. That was fun. I enjoyed having to see him be emotional for our team. Our team, the 4 of us.
I bleed green and orange.
Orange. We're not hunters. And then the last one, just all the memes. All the
What?
memes. I don't know if we have a best meme running for this podcast. We will. I would like to see who we think is the best meme. That was another thing great to come out.
I love this league.
Oh, yeah, it's a great league.
Okay. Chill out.
By the way, Dan is on call, so he is completely sober. So if anything seems off, that's just him.
I love Lamp.
Devin Singletary. Biggest what ifs on the season. Number 1, shout out to Chris. Derrick Henry. If he stayed healthy, I think that was a very
my
good
God.
what if. Chris's
Yeah.
team with Debo Samuel, Tom Brady, Leonard Fournette. His team kind of took a big old doo-doo in the first round. It was kind of due for the longest time. You had that many plays.
What if you had a buy?
There we go. He was very close to
If
having
he had
the
the
bye.
number 1 seed like Dan
I had the
did.
number
If you have a
2
guy
seed.
that's putting up 30
seed,
every
thank
week
you.
and you're running back one, different season for Chris. Number 2, the Berg Shaw trade that got, if it got nixed, what would happen? Shaw
That
would keep JT.
I don't know if Singletary. I don't know if Berg makes a lot of the following trades.
That's true.
that end up
There's a
biting
lot of
him.
fallout, a lot of
I
saving.
don't.
on
I
face.
know for sure I don't make the Miles Sanders for Debo trade. I only made that because after all that debacle, I had 2
Mhm.
running backs in my entire roster.
There you go.
And you had good wide receivers at that point.
Another one. What if Shaw made the 2 common sense moves to start the team that's not playing the Buffalo Bills, which is one of the best offenses, and the defense against them, and then just starting his guy, Devontae Smith, in the Sacco Bowl? I am the loser and I am 10th place, but he decided for some reason to start Darrell Henderson, who got a whopping 1.7, and he is now the last place finisher, which after this podcast, maybe be the worst manager in the league.
Thank you.
Love you, bud.
Glad I turned to one person. at
I didn't
least.
say, I said
Well.
maybe.
Nice.
And then finally, best what ifs. What if Dan had gotten in that car crash during the podcast on his road to PA? How many subscribers? How many views? We'll never know.
Could have been famous.
In some alternate
That
reality,
was
that
so
happened.
selfish.
Number 3 of my power ranking, I have 4 lists. I've gone through 2. Number 3, best team names ever used during the year. We got the honorable mention. Number 1, Will Zalatoris. Got to give him the honorable mention. A classic.
Took up Will and Zalatoris, so Dan can take Zalatoris.
Number 3, this was from the owner Shaw. I loved this one because I thought it was weird and funny. Team Eat Bird. He had that for a week. His team name was Team Eat Bird. He had the team Hungry Dogs, everything. Team Eat Bird. I love that one. Honestly, could have been higher, but there's some good ones left. Number 2, one of the first ones in that first matchup between Berg and Dan. From Dan, BURG, Berg wants a loco. This was in the start when we were just mispronouncing him, so Berg want a loco. And then number 1, maybe not as funny as the other 2, but a true classic because it was his team name, for like 5 or 6 weeks for Dan. You and O-Eater, R-A, tied LOL. That was his team name for like 6 weeks. So I thought that deserved to be number 1. It's a classic. We asked him to change it every week. And then finally, just biggest questions going into next season. Number 1, our 10th member. We have a vacancy.
A big vacancy.
A big vacancy. Who will it be? Could it be someone in this room that's off camera? Maybe. Our camera's got a little clock. For you, those that
COVID
don't know,
camera.
Berg moved out. He's got a new roommate. Name is Matt. Biggest fantasy football guy I know.
Our
He's a
biggest
great,
new
he's a great
subscriber.
guy. Might be the lead dog. Matt, you might not be on camera. Do you want to say anything to
It
the
would be a privilege, and I will bribe whoever I need to make this happen.
I am the commissioner.
The corrupt
It is
commissioner.
not- Whoa.
Dictator.
Anything but trades.
All right.
Your first round pick will be traded for Cortland Sutton.
And Odell
Berg wasn't
Beckham.
even blackmailed when you did that. All right. Next question is going into next season. Just rule changes. Are we going to do an auction draft, keepers, anything like that? So just things everyone watching this podcast, whatnot, will have to decide.
I got some cool ideas for some fun new rules I'll put in the group name. We could vote on them before the draft this year. Some things to spice up week by week. Some things to think about.
Okay, I love that. Thank you, Mr. Commish. Number 3, will Chris actually do what he's saying every single day? Like, I'm going to get Derrick Henry next season, no matter what. He has said he will trade endless amounts of picks for him. He loves that man. Number 4, this might be Pete's favorite one. Will Cole actually make the trip out the week before his wedding to be live for the draft? Pete is a non-believer.
I
Dan
believe.
is a believer.
I
Birdie's
believe.
also a believer. I am a believer. I think he gets off. He comes over.
I think there is zero shot.
The fiance's invited too. She can sit.
Invite the whole family. We'll
It's like
bring the pastor. I don't care. She's not coming.
Dan can host all of them. He just has to push that couch against the wall. And
Oh, when the couch is against the wall,
You can put air mattresses galore.
doubles in size.
I've got two more. Number 5, the milk machine. He's not listening right now. We know that. But will he finally subscribe?
No.
I don't think so.
If he doesn't start listening, there will be repercussions.
I love that. Thank you. I can't wait for follow-up on that. And then finally, the over-under. We can all make our best guesses. Berg and Dan trades next season. I'm setting the line at 3.5. I want you guys, all of us to
Here's the
say
thing.
over-under.
Here's the thing. We're one of the few managers that have the balls to take risks in this league.
All right, let's get to the Andes.
We're not gonna do over-under? What do we think? Over-under 3.5 next season. I'm going over.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
say under.
over because you say everything.
I'm gonna say under.
I'm gonna go over.
Why would you say under?
I don't know. It didn't work out for me this year. I'm not saying it's not gonna happen, but
Oh my god.
So you're going over-under, Dan?
I go with what my friend says.
Okay, great.
Those are gonna be 3 juicy trades.
Juicy Jeff. Worst meme of the year.
That was the
Juicy
worst
Jeff.
meme of the year.
Juicy Jeff with Dan looking over his shoulder with the yoga pants and juicy.
Best meme of the year. Chris meeting himself.
Fucking love that one so much.
All right, the Andes.
Alright.
The Dundies.
thank you. It's the moment I've been waiting for this whole season, I believe. A lot of awards up for grabs. Here's a few of them. If you want to just take a look at some of the things you might win tonight.
Oh wow.
Oh, baby, down the dictator falling. Image not.
It's Saddam Hussein specifically.
The greatest of all
For-
time.
You don't know that it's you. It might have nothing to do with that.
It better not.
The bushiest beaver. All right, let's get going.
All right. The first award is the Dirty Dan Award. This goes to the person that's been on the podcast that looks the best in a cowboy hat. And that's Berg.
Oh my god. I'm dying.
As the winner of the first ever Andy, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone for letting me be part of this league. For voting in this.
That is incredible.
I was snubbed for this.
You were a close second.
Oh.
Right. The next award is the Busiest Beaver Award. This goes to the person who put in tons of time into this league. They made trades. They were always talking about the league, all while studying for an actuarial science test and hosting a podcast. The Busiest Beaver is Nick.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
This says bushiest beaver.
Oh, that's a typo.
All right. I'll still,
We'll get that changed.
I'll still take it. All right.
Moving on, the Tony Award, usually given to the best performance on Broadway, but in this case, it's given to the person with the worst use of fab, which is Cole. Darius Tony at 31 fab dollars.
That is incredible.
That is so good.
That is really good.
Oh my god.
That is so good.
Because Tony's actually not spelled like that in
Yeah.
the award. I didn't even catch
The
that.
next is You Can't Spell Meme Without Me Award. This is for the person who talks about themselves the most in the group me and makes the most memes about themselves. And that's Peter.
Yeah!
They're still coming out.
I'd like to say, Nick, you did not listen to me on if we win out, we're fine.
I did
You
not
just
win
didn't
out.
hear it, but
Yeah.
I couldn't be more excited.
I thought,
Congrats on the
honestly,
award.
wait, before we go next, I thought this one was going to be a Shaw meme because the emphasis that maybe you misspelled.
Oh god.
Love you, buddy.
Hey, glad to win.
God live in
Next one is the Alex of
Oh,
Oh.
this is the most
And
controversial.
actually, there is a chance that more than one person could win this. Every Alex who did not finish in last place wins this. Oh, one game away, Sean. You had it too.
So happy for you.
Alex of the year.
All right, now we have the in memoriam section. These are these are for awards dedicated to people we've lost in the past. The first one is the William Henry Harrison Award. The shortest tenured president goes to the shortest tenured member of our league. Next, we have the Saddam Hussein Memorial Award, which goes to the person that acts the most like a dictator and posed for a picture of the Taliban.
That was not the Taliban.
Who's that guy behind you?
That's Chris.
Who's between Chris and Shaw breaking up their bromance?
That's my friend from high school.
Congratulations on the award, Dan. It's definitely one I would have wanted to win.
Oh.
Next, we have the Helen Keller Memorial Award. And this goes to the person least likely to see or hear this podcast.
I love that picture of him. I love that picture of him.
Look at that
Congratulations.
seduction.
Oh, that's good.
He won't see this or hear this, but does anyone have anything to say to Milk right now for this great
That kid
accomplishment?
traveled all the way to Chicago to take that picture of him.
I will actually give Milk a shout out. The fact that he lost McCaffrey and still came out in this league and traded with Juicy
He makes
Jeff
moves. He's a good
and
manager. in that
took third. I will give it to him.
one. I would never say this to his face, but he is a great fantasy manager and a really good friend of mine.
Great guy. You'll never hear about that.
Helen Keller.
Why would you?
Then there is no trophy for this last one because I think we all learned this year the biggest prize we could earn wasn't an Andy, it wasn't cash, it wasn't a belt buckle.
Wow.
But it was friendship. And that goes to both Chris and Shaw. The
Yeah.
last prize. And that's all.
That was beautiful.
That was
Eric.
incredible.
Thank you.
Oh, that
Where's
was
the
great.
price of admission?
Oh man.
What a great season.
That was a good season.
Commissioner, as we sign off for the last time here in 2021, is there anything you'd like to say? Just be careful of that cord.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to thank a few people for my win this season. First,
I
I'd
gotta
like
go get some wine. I'll be back. Let me know if I miss anything.
First, I'd like to thank God because without him, nothing is possible. Two, I'd
When was
like
the
to.
last time you went to church?
That's neither here nor there.
All right.
I go to the Church of Fantasy.
You did long hours.
Hey, I was in there a lot praying.
Oh, please give me Chubb.
I got him. Two, I'd like to thank everyone in this league. Without their boneheaded moves, without their ill-advised lineups, I never win this league. Three, I'd like to thank my mother because without her, I'm not on this planet to win this league. And fourth, but most importantly, I'd like to thank myself because without my dedication, long hours, and countless time spent on the phone making trades, I never am here to say this.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you, everyone. And I can't wait to do this again next year. Win it again. I'm starting my repeat championship run starting right now. Thank you.
I am so sorry for everyone who had to listen to that.
Can we cut out the
We are
last
all
2 minutes?
forever stupider
don't
for
worry.
listening.
Don't worry, we'll cut that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put in the we are all forever stupider for listening to that from the from Billy Madison.
really funny if you did that.
Hey, it was a great season. Thanks for watching and listening along. Sayonara till next pod.